Axios is reporting that Donald Trump would like to stop hurricanes before they reach the U.S. by nuking them.
People are flushing toilets 10 times, 15 times, as opposed to once. They end up using more water.
I got it. Why don't we nuke them? They start forming off the coast of Africa as they're moving across the Atlantic. We drop a bomb inside the eye of the hurricane and it disrupts it. Why can't we do that?
Because it's a hurricane. It would take the radioactive material and spread it all throughout the world.
A windmill anywhere near your house, congratulations. Your house just went down 75% in value. And they say the noise causes cancer. You told me that one.
Yeah, you seem so educated on things like that, like science.
There is a Muslim problem in the world. Well, there is a Muslim problem, absolutely. You just have to turn on your television set. I think Islam hates us. There's something there, there's a tremendous hatred there.
Did you mean all 1.6 billion Muslims?
I mean a lot of them. She's married. And all of a sudden, she's now got the big phony tits and everything. She's totally changed her look. I gotta do some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. Just and when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Grab them by the... You can do anything.
Well, historically, that's true with stars. If you look over the last million years, I guess that's been largely true. Not always, but largely true. Unfortunately.
She's accusing me of rape. A woman that I have no idea who she is. It came out of the blue. She's accusing me of raping her. The worst thing you can do, the worst charge. And you know it's not true too. You're a political operative also. You're a disgrace. But she's accusing me, and so are you, of rape. I have a wonderful wife who has to listen to this stuff all the time.
Yeah.
I have a wonderful wife who has to listen to this stuff all the time.
Yeah.
I have a wonderful wife who has to listen to this stuff all the time. When they say that the seas will rise over the next 400 years, 1/8 of an inch, you know, which means basically you have a little more beachfront property, okay?
Yeah.
Right? No one ever holds them accountable. So you're going to keep doing what you're doing now as a giant coward, and you're going to give, anonymous statements to the press, but internally you're going to keep enabling this maniac.
Situation where we're looking very strongly at sinks and showers and other elements of bathrooms.
Yeah.
I have a wonderful wife who has to listen to this stuff all the time.
Yeah.
I have a wonderful wife who has to listen to this stuff all the time.
Let's have trial by combat. Let's have trial by combat. Let's have trial by
All of us here today do not want to see our election victory stolen by emboldened radical left Democrats, which is what they're doing, and stolen by the fake news media. That's what they've done and what they're doing. We will never give up. We will never concede. It doesn't happen. You don't concede when there's theft involved. Our country has had enough. We will not take it anymore, and that's what this is all about. And to use a favorite term that all of you people really came up with, we will stop the steal. We have come to demand that Congress do the right thing and only count the electors who have been lawfully slated.
I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to patriotically make your voices heard. Today we will see whether Republicans stand strong for integrity of our elections, but whether or not they stand strong for our country. Our country. Our country has been under siege for a long time.
Well, you could also say, as the owner of the pageant, it's your obligation to do that.
So you have done that.
Well, I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show,
Yes.
and everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else, and no men are anywhere, and I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
You're like a
everything's
doctor
good.
if you're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible-looking women. And so I sort of get away with it.
What do you think of Lindsay Lohan now? I think she's hot. There's something there, right? Yes. But you have to like freckles. I've seen a close-up of her chest. Yes. And a lot of freckles. Are you into freckles? If the father's a wreck, like the way he is, right? You imagine the sex with this troubled? Yeah, you're probably right. She's probably deeply troubled and therefore great in bed. Back in the day. How come the deeply troubled women? Yes. Deeply troubled. Right. They're always the best in bed. How come the deeply troubled women? Yes. Deeply troubled. Right. They're always the best in bed. Best in bed. Best in bed. Best in bed.
Coronavirus. The cure cannot be worse than the problem itself. Coronavirus. The cure cannot be worse than the problem itself. Coronavirus. I would like to have him show his birth certificate. And can I be honest with you? I hope he can. Because if he can't, and if he wasn't born in this country, which is a real possibility, I'm not saying it happened, I'm saying it's a real possibility, much greater than I thought 2 or 3 weeks ago, then he has pulled one of the great cons in the history of politics. Coronavirus. The cure cannot be worse than the problem itself. Coronavirus. The cure cannot be worse than the problem itself. Coronavirus. The cure cannot be worse than the problem itself. Coronavirus. The cure cannot be worse than the problem itself.
I'm talking about a man who declares himself brilliant, but directed me to threaten his high school, his colleges, and the college board to never release his grades or SAT scores.
Although she does have a very nice figure. I've said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. My daughter is beautiful, Ivanka.
By the way, your daughter,
She's beautiful.
can I say this? A piece of ass.
Coronavirus. The cure cannot be worse than the problem itself. Coronavirus. The cure cannot be worse than the problem itself. Coronavirus. The cure cannot be worse than the problem itself. Coronavirus. The cure cannot be worse than the problem itself. Coronavirus.
What would people gain from wearing a mask, and why are you opposed to wearing one yourself?
Myself, it's a recommendation. They recommend it.
Footage from 1992 found in the NBC archives shows the future president welcoming Jeffrey Epstein to his Mar-a-Lago estate.
Coronavirus.
What would people gain from wearing a mask, and why are you opposed to wearing one yourself? I just don't want to wear one
myself. It's a recommendation. They recommend it. I'm feeling good. I just don't want to be doing, I don't know, somehow sitting in the Oval Office. I think wearing a face mask as I greet presidents, prime ministers, dictators, kings, queens. I don't know, somehow I don't see it for myself. I just maybe I'll change my mind, but this will pass. And hopefully it'll pass very quickly. Coronavirus. The cure cannot be worse than the problem itself. Coronavirus. The cure cannot be worse than the problem itself. Coronavirus. The cure cannot be worse than the problem itself. Coronavirus. The cure cannot be worse than the problem itself. Coronavirus. The cure cannot be worse than the problem itself. Coronavirus. The cure cannot be worse than the problem itself. Coronavirus. The cure cannot be worse than the problem itself. Coronavirus. The cure cannot be worse than the problem itself. Coronavirus.
The cure cannot be worse than the problem itself. Coronavirus. The cure cannot be worse than the problem itself.
Tic Tacs. I said, anybody have any Tic Tacs? And you know why I wanted to be a dictator? Because I want a wall, right? I want a wall, and I want to drill.
I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. Just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Grab them by the pussy. You can do anything.
Donald Trump reportedly made $2.4 billion during his presidency.
You would never abuse power as retribution against anybody.
Except for day one. Tic Tacs.
Even though we call this country a democracy, it's turning out to be more and more candy-coated dictatorship.
I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. Just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Grab them by the pussy.
Believe in punishment for abortion, yes or no, as a principle?
The answer is that there has to be some form of punishment.
When you start trying to legislate morality, you've got a problem. You know, it doesn't work. There's a difference between responsibility and adherence to dogma.
Tic Tacs. You wouldn't be a choice of mine either, to be honest with you. I hope you're not insulted.
Pussy.
So they come up with his order. I won't say it because I don't like using the word bullshit in front of these beautiful children. Tic Tacs. I said, anybody have any Tic Tacs?
When the dogma becomes legislation, that's when you have the danger.
I am your president of law and order. Tic Tacs.
Pussy.
Every authoritarian regime likes to get this little hook going for it. You tell people sex equals sin. And now I'm going to save you from sex. And that will save you from sin. And then you get to go to heaven. And we did it for you. So send in your check today.
You wouldn't be a choice of mine either, to be honest with you. I hope you're not insulted. I would not, under any circumstances, have any interest in you. I'm honest when I say it. I would not have any interest in.
If people have motives that are not worthwhile, then those bad motives are always going to creep into their activities. That you see that every day from the way the political people work. People were just in a position to have their minds functioning right, and everything else would fall into line.
Tic Tacs. Bullshit. 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 Shouldn't be allowed to run. And she does all of these different things. They're also conducting a second criminal investigation into Hillary's illegal pay-for-play corruption at the State Department. There's virtually no doubt that FBI Director Comey and the great special agents of the FBI will be able to collect more than enough evidence to garner indictments against Hillary Clinton and her inner circle, despite her efforts to disparage them and to discredit them. If she were to win this election, it would create an unprecedented constitutional crisis. In that situation, we could very well have a sitting president under felony indictment and ultimately a criminal trial. It would grind government to a halt, a criminal trial. It would grind government to a halt, a criminal trial, 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 a criminal
at the time, because we didn't realize what kind of criminal activity he was even doing at the time, how much he was projecting at the time. But it is true. It is really not good for the country to have a convicted felon become president. It's not good for the country to have somebody under a criminal indictment become president. That is what will happen if the Republican Party sticks by him, nominates him. The constitutional crisis that could come if he ends up, we have to make sure he does not win, because if he ends up winning, what if he does try to dismiss those federal indictments? Do you think that Jack Smith is going to let that happen so easily?
We're going to have a health care plan that's going to be second to none. It's going to be great. So I never said repeal it and replace it within 64 days. For a long time. It's been very much misreported that we failed with health care. We haven't failed. We're negotiating, and we continue to negotiate. We have 2 plans coming out in a very short period of time. We're going to come up with a health care plan. We're not going to vote on it until after the election. The plan is coming out over the next 4 weeks. Produce phenomenal health care. And we already have the concept of the plan. We'll be announcing that in about 2 months, maybe less. We have a great plan coming out. It's going to be, if we can take back the House, we're signing a health care plan within 2 weeks. A full and complete health care plan. We're going to be doing a very inclusive health care plan. I'll be signing it sometime very soon. It might be Sunday, but it's going to be very soon. We're going to be introducing a tremendous health care plan sometime hopefully prior to the end of the month. It's just about completed now.
You've been promising a new healthcare plan. I interviewed you in June of last year. You said the healthcare plan would come in 2 weeks. You told Chris Wallace that this summer it would come in 3 weeks. You promised an executive order on pre-existing.
I have it already.
But you've been trying to strike down pre-existing conditions.
I have it already, and it's a much better plan for you.
It's all ready. That was 6 days ago. Where is the plan, Brian?
The president will roll it out when he's ready to do so.
I don't care about you. I just want your vote. I don't care. I don't care about you. I just want your vote. I don't care. I don't care about you. I just want your vote. I don't care. I don't care about you. I just want your vote. I don't care. I don't care about you. I just want your vote. I don't care. I don't care about you. I just want your vote. I do a shitty job, and that's a shitty job. That's a shitty job. You do a shitty job, and that's a shitty job. That's a shitty job. You do a shitty job, and that's a shitty job. That's a shitty job. Tell them to make the microphone louder. It's terrible. I know many contractors that do a shitty job, and that's a shitty job. That's a shitty job. You can't read it. I know many contractors that do a shitty job, and that's a shitty job. Contractors that do a shitty job, and that's a shitty job. But you know what? It usually ends up, you can't read it. Don't worry, it's crazy. But you know what? It usually ends up that the speech is better. It's crazy. I don't care about you. I just want your vote. I don't care. I don't care about you. I just want your vote. I don't care.
What are people not talking about that they should?
We're not talking about our worldview. Everybody's laughing at America because we have the weakest president we've ever had in the history. He likes everybody but America. Because he's crooked, he's gotten a lot of money, millions over the years with his son Hunter. But the thing that is, Russia, China, everybody's laughing because we have no strength. We are not the America of 10 years ago. It's scary.
So we were stronger when President Obama was in office?
No.
It was 10 years ago?
No, yeah.
You started to talk about immigration. Tell me about that.
So who are these people in our country? They're not vetted, right? We don't know nothing of them. So...
They're asylum seekers, essentially, right?
And that's fine. You know, I love people. I love diversity. I do. I honestly, in my heart, I do. What I see on TV, what I read on the news, is a lot of people getting bused from Texas, Governor Abbott, saying we cannot sustain all these people coming in.
Now they're just letting anybody come in. It's a free-for-all. You know, my biggest fear right now is nothing is in place, or I don't know if anything's in place, to not have the election stolen again. That's my biggest fear.
I love the poorly educated.
Do you think it was stolen last time?
Absolutely.
What has been the evidence that you've seen that convinces you?
2,000 mules, that movie, with people actually stuffing the ballot box, of people having bins of ballots underneath their desk, of them stopping when he was ahead, and then all of a sudden he lost when everybody woke up the next morning. You know what? I mean, I'm no brilliant person here, but what I saw, and it's not just because I'm for Donald Trump, let the best man win, you know, but when it's stolen, it's stolen. And it was stolen, and like I said, I wasn't there, but I saw the movie of the exact things that were happening.
I love the poorly educated.
All Americans need a Bible in their home, and I have many. It's my favorite book. I'm proud to endorse and encourage you to get this Bible. We must make America pray again.
2 Corinthians 3:17. That's the whole ballgame. Where the Spirit of the Lord, right? Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. I love the poorly educated.
You mentioned the Bible. You've been talking about how it's your favorite book, and you said, I think last night in Iowa, some people are surprised that you say that. I'm wondering what one or two of your most favorite Bible verses are.
I wouldn't want to get into it because to me that's very personal. You know, when I talk about the Bible, it's very personal, so I don't want to get into verses.
There's no verse that means a lot to you that you think about or cite?
The Bible means a lot to me, but I don't want to get into specifics.
Even to cite a verse that you like?
I don't want to do that.
Old Testament guy or New Testament?
Probably equal. I think it's just an incredible, the whole Bible is an incredible. I joke very much so. They always hold up the art of the deal. I say my second favorite book of all time. It's my second favorite book of all time.
I don't think science knows, actually.
I don't know what I said. I don't remember. He's going like, I don't remember. Oh, baby, that's what I said.
I think I am actually humble. I think I'm much more humble than you would understand.
China has total respect for Donald Trump and for Donald Trump's very, very large brain. You fucking cunt. You fucking cunt. You cunt. You fucking cunt. You cunt.
And honestly, there's been no president
since Abraham Lincoln, and perhaps in a certain way, including Abraham Lincoln. But there's been no president since Abraham Lincoln that has done more for the black individual in this country than President Donald J. Trump. There's been nobody, not even close.
There would be teachers and coaches. If the coach had a firearm,
where a teacher would have a concealed gun on them. They'd go for special training, and they would be there, and you would no longer have a gun with you.
Right, and then I see the disinfector. It knocks it out in a minute. 1 minute. And is there a way you can do something? You fucking could happen. I don't know that the public would stand it. You know, I'm not sure the public would stand for it. I think it would be tough for the public to take. You know, at a certain point, there's a breaking point.
I know words. I have the best words. When you see President Xi of China, when you see Kim Jong-un of North Korea, when you see Putin, and you see all of these people, they're at the top of their game, whether you like it or not.
China virus, China virus, China virus, China virus, China virus, China virus, China virus.
I know words. I have the best words. I went to an Ivy League school. I'm very highly educated. I know words. I have the best words.
And it's a shame. It's a shame. And I'm sitting here for days now, from morning till night, in that freezing room.
This is a tough hurricane. One of the wettest we've ever seen from the standpoint of water. And it certainly is not good.
Sounds interesting to me. And it's a shame. It's a shame. And I'm sitting here for days now, from morning till night, in that freezing room. They shouldn't have allowed certain people to testify. They shouldn't have allowed certain people to testify. Certain people to testify. They shouldn't have allowed certain people to testify. They shouldn't have allowed certain people to testify. Certain people to testify. You fucking cunt. You cunt.
Oh, you're Boy Scouts, but you know life. Boy, you have a lot of people here. The press will say it's about 200 people. It looks like about 45,000 people. You set a record today. You know, I go to Washington and I see all these politicians. And I see the swamp. And it's not a good place. In fact, today I said we ought to change it from the word swamp to the word cesspool, or perhaps to the word sewer. As the Scout law says, a scout is trustworthy, loyal. We could use some more loyalty, I will tell you. By the way, what do you think the chances are that this incredible, massive crowd, record-setting, is going to be shown on television tonight? 1% or 0? President Trump spoke before a small crowd of Boy Scouts today. That is some crowd. Fake media, fake news. By the way, just a question. Did President Obama ever come to a jamboree? And we'll be back. We'll be back. We fight. We fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
They just came out with a report in Congress and they didn't mention my name, literally. The reason, in my opinion, you had over 1 million people there, which the press doesn't like to report at all, because it shows too much activity, too much spirit and faith and love. There was such love at that rally. You had over 1 million people there.
Schumer has become like a Palestinian. Chuck Schumer, Jewish, always strong for Israel. He's become like a Palestinian.
They were peaceful people. These were great people. The crowd was unbelievable.
President Xi of China, Putin, Kim Jong-un, all of these leaders are at the top of their game. Mentally, they're at the top of their game.
That is.
Well, I think I say in about almost all of these cases that are candidates, they are doing it for the purposes of hurting a political opponent.
There were no guns whatsoever, and yet they have people still in jail. There were no guns. There were no guns. You have people with no gun that walk down, and frankly, the doors were open. There was also a love fest between the police, the Capitol Police, and the people that walked down to the Capitol.
The Democrats have been very, very opposed to Jewish people. That's true, and to Israel. All you have to do is look at Senator Schumer. What he did with Israel is a disgrace.
The former president's comments were utterly disgusting.
His statements. And here's what he said. Thank you to Wayne Allen Root for the very nice words. President Trump is the greatest president for Jews and for Israel in the history of the world, not just America. He is the best president for Israel in the history of the world, and the Jewish people in Israel love him.
He thinks that there's some very fine Nazis.
And the Jewish people in Israel love him like he's the king of Israel. They love him like he's the second coming of God. But American Jews don't know him or like him. They don't even know what they're doing or saying anymore. It makes no sense, but that's okay.
Any Jewish person that votes for Democrats hates their religion, they hate everything about Israel, and they should be ashamed of themselves.
Mother Teresa couldn't get a fair trial here. I never saw a glimmer of a smile from the jury. No, this was a venue that was very unfair. It's a tiny fraction of the people are Republicans, and it's very unfair. And then we had a judge who was very fair.
There's nobody bigger or better at the military than I am.
Nobody loves the Bible more than I do.
Nobody builds walls better than me.
Nobody's better to people with disabilities than me.
Nobody's fighting for the veterans like I'm fighting for the veterans.
There's nobody that's done so much for equality as I have.
There's nobody more pro-Israel than I am. There's nobody more conservative than me.
There's nobody that respects women more than I do.
Nobody would be tougher on ISIS
Than Donald Trump.
There's nobody's ever had crowds like Trump has had.
There's nobody that understands the horror of nuclear better than me. Nobody even understands it but me. It's called devaluation.
The sale of the uranium that nobody knows what it means. I know what it means.
Nobody knows more about trade than me.
Nobody knows the game better than I do.
The history of this country has ever known so much about infrastructure as Donald Trump.
I said, wouldn't it really be bad, with like, as an example, Hillary, with the hammering of her cell phones and all of the things she did, but wouldn't it be terrible to throw the president's wife and the former Secretary of State, think of it, the former Secretary of State, but the president's wife into jail? Wouldn't that be a terrible thing? But they want to do it. So, it's a terrible, terrible path that they're leading us to, and it's very possible that it's going to have to happen to them.
We're going to end the mandate on electric one day. I want to make all boats, too. I went to a boat company in South Carolina. I said, how is it? He said, it's a problem, sir. They want us to make all electric boats. These are boats that are from 16 to 35 or so feet. Fishing boats, leisure boats. And what would happen if the boat sank from its weight? And you're in the boat, and you have this tremendously powerful battery, and the battery's now underwater, and there's a shark that's approximately 10 yards over there. So there's a shark 10 yards away from the boat. Do I get electrocuted? If the boat is sinking and water goes over the battery, do I stay on top of the boat and get electrocuted? Or
do I jump over by the shark and not get electrocuted? Because I will tell you, he didn't know the answer. He said, nobody's ever asked me that question. I said, I think it's a good question. I think there's a lot of electric current coming through that water. But you know what I'd do if there was a shark or you get electrocuted? I'll take electrocution every single time. I'm not getting near the shark. So we're going to end that. We're going to end the boats. Shark. 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 Shark.